join me back here at the Long Drop again, and it's the end of a very busy week. I've just come off a call with the production team, Danny and Adrian, and it looks like it's going to be another busy week this coming week. And we have a couple of deadlines to meet this week. One is for the outer box itself, which you'll have hopefully seen in the streamliner that we produced, where you can actually rotate it around and have a good look at it. If you haven't seen that, there'll be a link down here somewhere. But yes, we've got to get the artwork for that off by the end of this week, and we've got to get the artwork for the 10-inch inner bags off, which is basically the bit that actually holds the vinyl in. Now, strangely, it's not the entire package we've got to get off, it's just the inner bags, and that's because the inner bags are going to do a bit of a tour of Europe. The logistics for this whole process has been worked out over the last couple of years, and this was the most sensible process, which is sending them down to Italy to be printed, then up to Germany so that they can meet with the vinyl, which is being produced in Germany, and then the vinyl can be put into these inner bags, and then they can go back down to Italy to meet up with the outer bags. And you might think to yourself, why does it need to go all over the place like that? Well, partly vinyl is obviously a very delicate product, so to have the vinyl handled more than once isn't necessarily wise. It's something that will risk damage to anything. The more times it's handled, the more risk there is. So we decided that we needed the vinyl to be handled once and put straight into the inner bags. But to have the inner bags printed in Germany means there's a risk of a poor colour match or slight differences in sizes so that they don't go together. So having them printed in one place made sense as well. It reduces the risk of there being any difference in colours and difference in sizes. So it's kind of this tour, as I say, it's going to go down to Italy, up to Germany and then back down again. But that way we really minimise any of the risks that you face in producing a complex product like this. So that's why the inner bags have got to be done first, because they've got to do this journey, and the outer bags will be going later. So those have got to go off at the end of the week, but interestingly enough, you'd think maybe if we've got that deadline coming up that that's what I'd be focusing on because that's the next deadline, but actually what I've been focusing on this week is the 120-page book, mainly because that's got to go through a number of stages. It's not all about producing the artwork on that one, it's actually about keeping things going so that when it comes to the artwork it's not trying to do too much in a very compressed space of time. So this week we've been doing stage 1, which is one of 4 stages. Stage 1 is getting all of the assets together, working out what assets we've got, which assets we like, and which assets belong to each song. And when I say assets, a very cold word of things, but it's actually all the photographs, all the notes. We've got screen grabs, we've got all sorts going in there, some really detailed stuff going in there for each song. And we gather those all into one place and then we go through them. And stage 2 is going through them and refining them down and actually putting them into some kind of order for the book. And we're probably halfway through that at the moment. I've just put the first draft, if you like, of what's going where in the book together. I've PDF'd it off to Imi so she can have a look at it and see what she thinks. And we'll bat that and back and forth a bit, refine it and get it into a shape that we like. And then stage 3 is Imi's going to hand write annotations for every single picture, every single note, and so on. And the key about this whole album is there's a lot of stories going into the album. There's a story for every song, and then within that story there's so many little chapters to that story. So sometimes an image might not necessarily be very obvious at what you're looking at. So Imi's going to be handwriting little descriptions of each one so that it becomes clear. And you'll see when you see the book, there's just an immense amount of information to get across. And really, we could have probably done a 500-page book and would have still had enough to fill it up. But we're honing it down, and then once Imi's done that hand annotating, the 4th stage is pulling all of that together, the pictures and all of the annotations, into one actual book artwork, which will then be going off for print. So that's the stages that will be going on this week, sort of the latter half of stage 2 of getting all of these pictures in the right place, and then stage 3, Imi doing all of our annotations. And then also this week I'll obviously be doing those bits that we need, the outer box and the inner 10 inches, and starting to fulfill all of the inside contents of all the books for all of the individual singles. As I mentioned on another blog, we've got half of those done already, as you may have seen in Streamliners over the last couple of years, but we've still got quite a bit to do in that. But that's another thing we were doing last week, is gathering that together and getting our notes together. When we did the last blog, we'd actually just finished going through each of the case bounds to see what content we wanted in each one, and plan it and make sure that when it comes to putting that content in, we'll have the content ready. So that's going to be the week coming up, and hopefully I'll be able to keep you informed as the week goes along. But until then, see ya.